Welcome back, friends. Big day today on the homestead. We are hooking up the well pump. So let me show you what we've got going on and what our ambition is today. Brian and I are hoping to get the well pump, the main well pump, all hooked up today. So we're running our wires here and our conduits. We're going to be running our pressure line, doing the bentonite damming and the trenching. Now, what I've decided to do is just to trench right across the driveway here, and we'll go in under the foundation. So a couple of good things have happened that make it a little bit easier. I had really no idea where the water line was coming out of the house from the old well pump, and fortunately I found it without breaking it. I started over here because that's where it was coming out of the house, but of course, you know, whoever put it in did a very poor job here and bent it there around, but we ended up finding it. Brian's working on the connection here. What do you got going on, Brian?
Oh, I got to take the, what do you call this, the casing off of the
shielding there? Yeah, I don't know the terminology.
Strip those back, and then we'll make the connection between these wires, which are going to run outside the conduit.
These are number 10 4 wires, so this is a 240 pump. And so instead of running a shielded wire, I went to the electrical store yesterday and just bought individual number 10 wires, and we're going to run them inside that 1-inch conduit. That's about all the gravel I can get up. We're just about down to dirt. Gravel, to have it delivered up here, is very expensive. That pile right there was $500. So if you can save your gravel, that helps a lot. All right, so I'm going to start, let's see, I'll probably start digging over here at Brian's end, and we're going to work together, have him spot for me. We don't know if there's anything in the ground here. It's going to be a little bit risky, but we have to go 2 feet. That's our frost layer, and no more. So far so good. So we haven't hit anything yet. We are probably about halfway through the driveway. So what I'm going to do is I'll level this out right here, and I'll grab some bedding gravel, and we'll dump about 3 or 4 inches of gravel in the bottom. That way we can make it perfectly smooth and bed around that pipe. If you live in areas that have a lot of rocks in the soil and you're burying pipes like this, you got to be really careful on that backfill, because you can roll a rock in there and it can break that pipe, and it's really heartbreaking when you get the whole job done, all cleaned up, and then you find like a month later you've got a big leak and you got to tear it all up again. The other thing I try to do when trenching like this is to get the clean off the sides of the trench. That way when you're getting in and out of it and doing your pipe work, you're not having big avalanches of dirt and rocks coming in. It just makes it safer for the guys putting the pipe in. It's just good style. A good equipment operator can dig almost a perfectly flat trench, causing a lot less work for the guys putting the pipe in and such. I find this backhoe a little bit difficult to work because it's John Deere control. I grew up on cat. I've got thousands of hours on cat, so 2 of the movements are mixed, and I have to get my brain around that. But that looks pretty good. Just minimal shoveling here. And also, this is not the smoothest machine. You know, it's not like it was refined like a Case or a Cat or a JD, you know, where you can really operate it super smooth. It's a bit jerky. It's very, a little bit temperamental. But for an attachment, an add-on unit off of just a farm tractor, it's really, really good for what it is. What'd you run into, Brian?
We got a big old root wad here. Got a bunch of them running parallel.
Yesterday's question was, should Donald Trump image be chiseled into Mount Rushmore National Monument? That was a bit divisive. 40% said yes. Is this conduit glue? Red hot glue, PVC pipes, yeah. Brian put a galvanized nipple on there, just a little bit stronger. We're going to convert to plastic, but we're putting that one on there because having the hand pump there and there's going to be kids around it and, you know, equipment and stuff, it's a lot tougher. It won't get broken. And then down here we'll put a sweep on it and convert to the 1-inch plastic there. Two inches enough? Okay, just a little short piece. Starting to get our pipe and conduit in here, getting ready to do the backfill. So we've got a water line and this coming out. I got a piece of plywood here. We're going to want to have a bentonite, basically a plug around this. So we'll do that here as we're backfilling. But right now we're just going to put gravel in up to the top of the pipe. I'm using this small 1/4 inch minus crush. I like using that small stuff because it doesn't have a lot of compaction to it. So it really gets in and around pipes and things like that, because you don't want to have unsupported pipes like this. When you dump dirt in, a rock or heavy weight can drop on that and snap it off. We also want to do a pressure test to make sure we don't have any leaks so we can still see it. So we're just going to backfill right up here to the top of the line, bed it in, and then we'll flip around and dig the other side of the trench. This is as far as I could dig with the backhoe before I was getting into the hole here. So when I run into a situation like this, I'll flip around. So we'll bring the machine in here. I'll dig this way until I come to this spot here. And the trench is it's narrow enough there that I can straddle that with the machine, and we can, and then I can get it back off here once we get the pipe laid in there. Grab another shovel, Brian, and let's just level this out by hand real quick. Okay, so we're gonna make the connection here. Now this here, I am somewhat confident. I'd say 70% confident this isn't a charged water line. We're gonna find out right now. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that this was buried as a conduit for a future wire out to the shop.
Does
but
it feel hollow?
I'm feeling it. You know, it's not Schedule 40, so it's not super thick. It's like Class 200, so it doesn't feel pressurized. but we'll find out here in a minute. Are you waterproof?
I'm waterproof.
Okay. We'll start. Yeah, it is. It doesn't feel pressurized. It doesn't feel heavy. I'm sure there's not a wire in it or something. Good idea when you potentially cutting through a charged wire to use an all metal saw. But you can usually move it, hit it, and you hear a rattle inside if there's a wire. So I was going to show Brian how to use these things really quickly. I thought you might be interested in it. So these pipe cutters, this is the best way to cut pipe. And to do it really fast when you're doing a lot of it, as you grab this thing, you know, you're supposed to cut forward like this, but if you're right-handed, it's a little bit awkward, so you can do it backwards. But put that thing on there, and as you're turning this, half a turn each time, and you can go around just like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's about a quarter of the time it took me to do it.
Yeah, you
see
guys that haven't used these before, you know, one thing you can do, especially with the copper pipe and the metal pipes, is you can crush it, and then it won't go into the fitting. So if you do this, if you just grab it, and as you're going around, that's how quickly you can do it.
And I know that tree's there, but...
I got a little bit more.
Yep. Now you're going down.
Okay.
Oh.
I think we're good.